everybody. And I'm Sudha Jamthe. I am so happy to be here because I see a lot of my students, and given that we do weekly Wednesday hosted by Yash, every Wednesday I see a lot of friendly faces. So, one of the things I heard from a conference organizer once was that they could not find enough women. And so they showed what they call as manels, which is all panels full of men. And it got me thinking about how conferences call for people to speak. And I get called a lot and I'm very networked. So I just thought maybe if we just can, connect across networks, that would help. So for the past uh, 5 years, I would say I've been doing this event called IoT Day in April, where we bring women together on amazing um, intellectual sessions. And last couple years, I've been doing this International Women's Day. So I'm happy that Yash is, joining me this year to do that, where we try to bring voices of women from around the world. And it has to be from various networks. It's as simple as that. So women are doing their own thing and ruling in their own world, in their careers, following passions, changing the world, and everybody connected to them knows that. But all our networks are not connected. So that's our attempt to bring a bunch of women. And our theme we decided is, instead of these women, because they're all amazing in their fields, we won't have time to do justice to what they can teach us. So in this month of March, we are going to have all women speakers. And so we already started that with Tejumade Afonso last Wednesday. And Yash will continue on through rest of March with other amazing women speakers who'll teach us something new. What we decided to do today was just get a minute video from women, just introducing themselves and their passion. And one thing when you ask women to do this is they will be very humble. And so I thought I knew some of them. And even after my interaction, it was mind blowing when he heard where they came from, what their journeys were. So Yash has put together a montage of some of these, and rest of it we still have like a separate recording. So what we are going to do is we will show you the recording as one montage, but you're not just here going to just listen and watch a video. So you will see why we have put it in a certain way. So before we get started, uh, why is International Women's Day even a thing? I mean, I've had male colleagues who, one particular male colleague who said, "Why do you have women's group? Why do you do this?" And I invited him to the women's group to you know to look at what kind of issues we were facing. So for in my perspective, we need this day because it's true that we do not have gender equality, so there are issues that women face. But I saw a quote this morning about, when I got messages on International Women's Day, I got this quote about how women are so strong and the world is not set up to acknowledge their full strength. And that is why we still have to have this conversation and make sure that we have gender equality in everything. For me personally, I think it gives us an opportunity to bring these issues to light, talk about it, and connect with each other and showcase and celebrate each other. So Yash, before I turn on to the video, so what does International Women's Day mean for you?
Means a lot to me because when I see women and their problems and how each woman is holding each other's hand to address them and lift them up. So this is empower, enable, and lead by example. So we derive inspiration from all over the world. So they do, we do, and we can.
Awesome. And I want to have a conversation with people in the room soon, once we get off with our video. I wanted to start off with saying my inspiration in life has been my mom, and she was this strong career woman, and she was a feminist, and I just saw her organically, just be a boss. I didn't need to even think about it. So I want to thank my mom here while I'm on air. She's I don't know if she'll see it. I can send her the recording. Um, Other than that, I realized that so many people I meet on a daily basis just inspire me. So I have so many of my students, when you see that when I start showing my videos, I go gravitate towards my student, including Yash here, because I draw inspiration from each of them. And that kind of drives me to go teach more, find more people. And then occasionally you get a fellow instructor like Susanna, who would just change your thinking. And Susanna, thank you, because she's one of those people who got me to think about AI ethics when I was just obsessed about data and value creation from data. So I realized you cannot create value from data unless you make it inclusive. That's the bottom line I learned from Susanna. And it's just a journey that has begun. Okay, so let me share my screen and get started. Okay, 1 minute, guys. Okay, the risk with YouTube is it's going to finish up and it's going to start showing some ads, and which is all about data, showing my preference. Okay, share my screen. Okay, you're seeing this YouTube? Yeah.
No sound, Sudha.
No sound? Okay, I'm going to make one more attempt because I'm hearing the sound here. Let me see. Thank you guys while you're being patient here with me. Okay. One other thing I realized as I was getting ready to go live today is I have done meetups because I'm this extrovert and it's very energizing for me. It gives me an opportunity to meet interesting people. So all my life, I've done some kind of organizing events, live events, in-person events before the live world that we are doing today. But as I'm talking to you and I'm talking to women who are going to watch this around the world, I want you to know one thing, that I have faced this when in my early days as a mom with a young kid. I would come from work, make sure that dinner is ready, and then rush to my meetup. And there would be organizers who would be calling me and I would be on the phone and then, cooking. And I used to feel very bad about myself of, I'm not showing that face of me to the world. And so, it helped me kind of liberate myself to a place where I could just talk and be more myself. So there must be people out there where you're not able to control your narrative, or you are having somebody or situation where you feel like, I am not able to do that. Because when I've said that to women, they say, you're able to go do this, and that's not my life. So I just want you to know that as a woman, you have that strength. We all have that ray of hope inside. It just has to come out, and it will come out sometime. Okay. So don't want to sound too cheesy. So I'm going to switch to our video, promised. Okay. Round 2. Let's do it. And credit for this goes to Yash for putting this beautifully together. You can hear the sound here? Can somebody nod or tell me?
Yes, we can hear.
Okay, thank you, guys.
I think you should increase the volume.
Yeah.
My name is Roxy Stimson, currently a Vice President of Engineering at F5 and former Chief Technology Officers at IoT World Labs. Thank you, Sudha Jamthe, for the invite. I am currently leading an engineering organization of 300 plus, delivering technology capability from sales and marketing to finance telemetry, customer success, data engineering, DevOps, and identity in the F5 technology services. I have just joined Chief. a private network built to drive more women into a position of power and keep them there. Chief is the only organization specifically designed for the most powerful women executives to strengthen their leadership, magnify their influence, and pave the way to bring others with them. I have also recently joined G100 as the USA Country Chair of Innovation and Technology to collaborate and to co-create with other women leaders for global inclusivity, economic and social empowerment. My why is to make more leaders leave the world better than I found it. My core values are respect, integrity, service, and always learning. My leadership philosophy is to inspire and empower individuals and teams to impact positively. My superpower is bringing out the best in people. I was born in the war zone and almost lost my left arm when I was 3 years old. I believe in peace. I am grateful and thanks to my grandmother for saving my arm. I am a serial entrepreneur, a Vietnamese American, a world refugee, and an engineering leader. I hold a bachelor degree in computer science from the University of Washington and curious to see what's next. Many blessings and peace to you. Thank you. Thank you, Sudha.
Roxy is such an amazing person and definitely an inspiration for all the women's event that I do, the IoT day that I do with her in April is, a partnership with me and Roxy. So thank you, Roxy, a star boss woman. Let's look at the unstoppable woman.
Hi, I'm Yashaswini Vishwanath and I'm an AI researcher. And the best of all is that I'm Sudha Jamthe student and I'm the host of weeklywed. So weeklywed gave me an wonderful opportunity to talk to people all over the world and interact and learn from their experiences. This enriched my intellect and it broadened my horizon. So, and yeah, I've published a lot of papers. Do get in touch with me if you would like to collaborate on research work. Happy Women's Day. We rock.
I want to share and ask Yash something. Hold on, let me get out of here. So I've been doing this as video interview of people for 7 years, I think. And that was, for me to make sure that I bring in people smarter than me and surround myself with people who are always smarter than me. And I just interviewed people based on whatever topic I was working on. So that's what you see about AI and autonomous vehicles and data. Yash came in as my student. And one of the things she did was she changed what we did with Weekly Wednesday. She made Weekly Wednesday its own brand with her own energy, hosting it. Previously, I've had a couple of my students, host it. And I think Sneha Jadhav was the first one, product manager, who came in and started hosting Weekly Wednesday. And I find that each person I collaborate with brings a different, part of me or makes me smart. And the thing with Yash was, she said, she came with amazing experience. I think you have 10 years experience in as a software engineer and Bluetooth work and, quite an array in there in the tech world. And then she said, I want to be a AI researcher and I'm working on responsible AI. And so if you see me actually doing a single paper out there, and I've published a couple papers, 2, 3, I think, that has gone out officially into journals. Otherwise, I just wrote books. And then I'm focusing on a lot more research, and credit for that goes to Yash to kind of steer me in a different direction. I did not know I had that in me. So the next segment, we are showcasing an amazing set of women from different parts of the world, even down under from Australia, who are researchers. So I want to ask Yash about, how did you choose to become an AI researcher? What does that mean for you?
Research is a very wonderful word for me. So when I was a kid, I was really captivated by these scientists and inventions books that I had. So I would always see that they do something new, like they said that sun is at the center and all the planets are revolving. So I always wanted to be a scientist. I always wanted to do research. And the best part that I like about research is nobody knows what we are coming up with. It's our own thing, and it's a piece of our personality and our intellect. So research enthuses me. It really makes me happy.
And when you say AI research, and I wanted to get into AI research, what is AI research for you? Why AI research, and why responsible AI research?
Yeah, so I was always having an altruistic mindset. I always wanted to do something good for the society. So basically, we have to work, we have no choice. So we will be working, but we can do that work in such a way that the society benefits from it. We do something good to some people out there. And this altruistic mindset is what set me on AI research and responsible AI. See, everybody is doing AI, everybody is doing models, they want to do the next big thing. But in responsible AI, I learned from Susanna's class, and I learned from Career Pivot to AI Ethics class that we have a prerogative to do AI that does not harm the people, that does good to the human beings, and in turn, it makes a difference to the society. So I saw this as a very broad area where we can make change and bring impact to the society, positive impact to the society.
And so how would you get started? Because you come from an engineering background, and research is done by everybody in every possible field out there, right? So is there some common structure for doing research, or is there a place to get started, or is there many different ways of getting to it?
So I was a master's student, and they taught us research methodology and research communication. And also I was part of IASC for almost a year, where I was a research intern. So what I observed from the professors there were, they were just human beings like us. So when we see Einstein's photo, we see him being very different, but the professors with whom I interacted were all just like me. They were humans. So they get ideas, and those ideas they communicate. And what they do is they have a set methodology. They will have a process in which they will do it methodically, set up experiments, get the experiment results, showcase the experiment results, and generate insights out of it. So when somebody does all of these steps, it becomes a research paper, and it becomes a piece of research work that we can communicate to others. So basically, these journals, conferences are a mode where we can share. Like we are here at weeklywed at the International Women's Day, and we are sharing our thoughts. So that is the same. There also we are sharing our thoughts. The day we think that it is what everybody does, we will be very strong and bold in doing research work. If we keep thinking that research work is for somebody sitting in a silo on a tower, it won't help us. So all the researchers are just human beings like us. They're putting out their ideas. So we also have a lot of ideas, and our voice matters. So like how Susanna tells in the class, our lived experience matters, what we have been through. So everybody in this room has an opportunity to do research and bring in their voice and showcase it to the world through his research papers. I strongly suggest that everybody here tries their hand at it.
Thank you, Yash. That is one of the things I found, that when we were interviewing women, and I in this event, or whenever I end up collecting this for IoT Day or other women events specifically, you are talking about something that you have found your path and now you're good at it. So sometimes I found that, as an extrovert, when I'm saying you should network and you go do this, that, right? There are people who don't feel that is their method of operation, or they're not comfortable doing that. And I feel like they have such good knowledge and I'm missing out on that. So I have learned, especially with my classes, to tune in, to adapt to my students. So I hear you about how you got into research. For me, I think when I started out with IoT and I came from tech industry, I ended up connecting with people. I started the YouTube channel because I wanted to bring knowledge from everybody who was working in IoT. And my method of sharing that knowledge was writing books. So after writing 6 books, it hit me that by not making this as a research publication, by making it as a book, people refer back to the book. So when I go and add my own Google Scholar, I can find callbacks and citations to my own books. But I felt like the difference in research for me is, by publishing something as a paper, I follow the scientific method. What you said your professors were doing, they didn't reinvent it. The whole world does that in every possible industry, that you follow a scientific method so that when it is published, there's peer review done, that there is no ifs or buts on what the hypothesis is, what the data is saying, what is the inference or the analysis that you're presenting. The other thing for me is, by putting it as a research, first of all, I might come with an idea, and I worked in tech for many years. I can tell you this. We have innovation centers, and it is innovation. When you say you come up with new ideas, we all have ideas. I think when you work in innovation center, you're thinking of new ideas, and the way tech is built is to come up with new things. But we don't want to reinvent the wheel and think that we just found it on our own. So I've been through that, and it happens that when you're trying to solve a problem and you come up with an idea, you think this is a unique thinking. It's unique thinking for you, but there must be several other people in the world. If this is a real problem for the world, there must be other people thinking about the same problem and trying to solve it in different ways. So the thing with research for me is, I like looking at what has been done out there, so I can cite their work and build on it, see what they've done. Do I agree to it? Do I like that approach? Do I want to do a different approach? The second thing is, when I publish my work, obviously it is going to be peer reviewed, so there's different point of views. And when I publish that, now it goes into the world where other people can build on it. So that is my hope of working with Yash on this, and Suresh has joined us, and we are doing some papers, and I put it out in my newsletter saying, come join us. So if this is your thing, if you want to do innovation, you want to build product, that's great. If you want to go into the research mode, that's great. Or there are other roles. So today we are going to show you next couple amazing AI researchers, and it's 1 minute clip of their journey, so not enough justice to their entire background. And then we switch to designers, UX designers, because the experience you feel in every product is done by UX designers. And you may not know UX designers as vocal people, they are creative people. So, but their work is what touches us when we see any product. Okay, so let me go past Yash, back to sharing mode. And as we are talking, if you notice, we are here to celebrate the women, show their work. I heard from every single woman that we tried to collect videos from. They said, just don't talk about me. There are so many people in my industry. I want what I'm passionate about to reach the world. So that's why we wanted to have a discussion about AI research. We want to have a discussion on the topics, and then get to the actual video of the women. So if you're, as we always do in weeklywed, we are recording, and so if you don't want to be on air, I see some of you are off camera, but you can chat and add a comment or question, or you have links to share. or if you are in, working in a related field, this is an opportunity to connect with everybody in the room, with the amazing women you're seeing on air. And if we don't know you, you should tell us where you're coming from so we can connect with you and see your work too. Okay, so
hi, happy International Women's Day. It's a great pleasure to address you all today. Thanks to Sudha and Yash from the Business School of AI in USA for inviting me to speak. My name is Malka Halgamuke, and I'm a senior lecturer in cybersecurity at the Department of Computer Science and Information Technology at La Trobe University in Melbourne, Australia. From 2007 to 2021, I worked as a researcher at the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, where I obtained my PhD at the University of Melbourne, Australia. My research interests include emerging technology, blockchain, IoT and edge security, machine learning, and federated learning solutions, and bioelectromagnetics, or observing the impact of electric and magnetic fields to living things. One of the best things about my career is that I have the privilege to meet inspirational people like you from all over the world. I have obtained fellowships to work and live in the different part of the world. For an example, Lund University in Sweden, a few universities in China, including Chinese Academy of Sciences in Beijing, Australia India Institute in Delhi, and University of California in Los Angeles. This exposed me to diverse ethnicities, cultures, research, and way of thinking that I never would have experienced working just in Melbourne. One important thing I have to share in light of it being International Women's Day is females are strong. All they need is courage and self-belief. Thank you.
Thank you, Malka.
Hi all, my name is Carolina Guzman. I am from Bogota, Colombia, but I'm currently living in Barcelona, in Spain. I'm studying a master's degree in digital product management at the University of Barcelona and Barcelona Technology School. And I am passionate about working on business solutions based on technology in order to address social problems such as poverty, financial inclusion, or social inclusion. For instance, in the last years, I have been working at a bank in Colombia, developing an alternative data credit risk model. This is important because the unbanked population usually don't have financial records. So it's very difficult for them to show that they are able to pay a loan. So with this alternative data, based on the digital world, we can develop machine learning models or artificial intelligence models in order to assess the credit risk of these users. So I'm very happy to share my experience with you, and I hope you can all develop a career in the tech sector. Bye.
So one thing that I loved about this particular world changer, I would say, is she wants to work in tech. And so she's talking about how we should work in tech. One second. And tech has been so pervasive. So it is not just, there's a tech sector that is building technology. And then there is technology that is being applied. So we have applied AI, applied tech in all possible industry. So when she's saying tech sector, she's talking about bringing technology into multiple sectors. But what I find fascinating about her work, and she's a student of Barcelona Technology School, where I teach AI ethics. And what I find fascinating is she wants to come build digital products. That's her passion. She got in, but she just brought the ethics of it. She found that coming from Bogota, she's finding that the AI models that decide who gets credit and loans is not done with data that is reflexive of her local community. So that is something that I want to call out. And I'm actually going to be focusing my rest of my year. And when I say research, I'm thinking of my research in this area to focus on how we can collaborate across different silos, different regions, so that we bring the data sets and the lived knowledge from different people, which is, and to solve for problems that is relevant to them. So sitting here in Silicon Valley, if we are saying we want a data set, oh, let's go find a public data set. We would find something that's a Western data set or data set that's biased. And we talk about how it is biased and not inclusive, but my lens would still not, I will not have the lens to understand what does it mean for somebody on how they manage credit in a different world altogether, where it is not credit cards and debit cards, and there is no credit check that you would do the way that you do it in US. So as you're listening to this, I want you to think about, with AI, it's all about the data. So wherever you are, what problem you want to solve, you have the data, you have the knowledge. So think about how you would bring that into AI. It can be research, it can be products, it can be just applying that. It could be as simple as selecting a tech product that your company or your government or your local region wants to buy, and you just have input saying, hey, this doesn't make sense for us. Have you thought about this situation? So just wanted to put that out there. So I want to see if anybody has any comment on related to what we spoke, especially this topic of, localized knowledge and localized data, building AI that is collaborative across the globe. If somebody has any comment, I would like to hear it. Otherwise, we can move on. And if you want to talk to me offline, I'm happy to follow up on that. So one of the things I'm doing today is I'm starting a new newsletter on LinkedIn called Limitless. So it's about limitless potential of tech, limitless potential from all of us to collaborate on this theme that I was talking about. So I'll be sharing that in a little bit. I want to go back to sharing my screen on the next amazing women here.
Hi, my name is Maddie, and I am a user experience researcher located in New York, United States, working for Evertrue on their ThankView side of the product. A lot of my career has gone with working with companies that either don't have a product team and or don't have a researcher. And
so the thing here is, this is actually an amazing journey of somebody who came from a totally different background and got into UX design. And I was just talking a little while back about how UX design is how we experience every product, the experience that you feel even with an invisible AI or a voice assistant or something which has a mobile or web interface. But this is a fascinating journey, and I didn't know her before this. So let's hear her story.
And helping them implement a lot of processes and gaining user feedback so they can go ahead and, with my help, learn from more users and use that feedback to create and improve their product. Outside of that, I am a creative artist. I also do voiceover work, and I'm a photographer.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm Rama Chandrasekharan from Chennai, India.
So I'm switching gears to, different set of people who are following their passion in so many different ways, because my world is so much into tech because I come from technology industry. I didn't want it to be limiting to somebody who is thinking, in a different world outside of technology. And for me, when I decided to author a book on IoT, I had advice from everybody. My method was, being the extrovert that I was, to go talk to people around me. And most everybody said that was not a good idea. And I was just thinking, how is this book world working? And I had to go figure it out. And so Rama here is my childhood friend. And recently she followed her passion, and she was very reluctant to share her video. And yes, she's such a humble person, but we're lucky she decided to.
Though I worked in many sectors like proofreading, language training, academic counseling, I always found a keen interest in writing. Last year, with the help of Shiro's community, I published my own book in Amazon. It's an ebook containing 30 microfiction stories, and it's titled A Treasure of Emotions. So, on this International Women's Day, I would like you all women to find your passion, follow your dreams, and do what makes you happy. Happy International Women's Day to all of you.
Thank you. Yes, do you want to add anything before we move on to the next women?
Patrick has put some comments in the chat section. So if you can address them.
Okay, do you want to read that out?
Yes. So Sudha, I can connect you with someone in Mexico that has started ML Ops for a fintech company at a distance, linked to a bank, addressing, dealing exactly with the problem. Many people don't even have a bank account. How do you address that? They use mobile phone accounts. So they're provided with that. And Patrick is asking about that.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you, Patrick. I'm happy that you're back at weeklywed. Missed having your voice here. So I'm happy to follow up offline. So one of the things I like to do after International Women's Day and IoT Day is all the new women that I got to know and hear about, I like to connect them to each other. So I'm going to follow up with you to see what this is and then connect back to the student to see if that's interesting for her. Maybe there's something we can collaborate together to. So thank you so much. Okay, back to sharing. So yes, should I continue on with the sharing? We have like a few more women. Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, Bobby.
Hello, everyone. This is Bobby from Shiruba. I am the founder and CEO of Shiruba Inc. I'm really passionate to help and introduce technology to diverse, underserved community and women with the color. Happy International Women's Day, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay. So Bobby, thank you so much for sending out the video and joining us here live at this event. It really made us very happy, Bobby. And the altruistic mindset with which you want to look at the underrepresented groups is so nice about that.
Oh, thank you so much. I did it last night, right before I go to bed.
Yeah, I think she had the shortest notice compared to everybody else. She was having a conversation with me, and I just said, hey, we are doing this. Do you want to add to the video? Because I was trying to get videos from women who were outside my network. And then I realized here was a gem of a person that was willing, right? I didn't want to put anybody on the spot. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your overall journey? I know you're an entrepreneur with Shiruba as your company. What's your journey?
Oh, it's a very long story. Actually, I'm from Nepal, and then I'm the only one person who came out of the Nepal, in even Kathmandu, in my whole family. And as a girl, it is a lot of tough for me when I come to USA to study. And it's a lot of things. And then after I study, I work with the companies many years. And then I decide to open the company to help others. The Shiruba is to help others and guiding and mentoring for everyone. Yeah. And then I'm really passionate to technology because when I come here, the email is the only way to connect with my family back then. They're opposite side of the world, and technology made very easy to connect with them. So that's why I'm really passionate. And then AI is, I'm really passionate with that. I don't have that much knowledge, but that's my next step to learn.
Okay, awesome. And thank you for jumping in and talk to us right when, we're putting you on the spot here. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for inviting. I'm really thankful for your group.
Thank you.
And it was really inspirational. What Bobby said was truly inspirational. And Sudha, I want to add one thing here. The the altruistic mindset with which people open up new avenues for others to help them, empower them, and enable them is so beautiful in this world. So we have the war going on now and all of that, but it is such a sad thing. But here we are a bunch of people who are trying to good for everybody, and it's so nice to hear about Bobby. We need more people like her.
Thank you. Thank you. So we finished the montage of women out there that we collected as new women, but there are some women that you might have seen as a speaker at Weekly Wednesday. We feel like we've not done justice to them because we brought them to talk to us on one topic that they're passionate and they're working on, but their world changes. So I thought we should add some more of them. So one of them is Yankee.
Oh, mine.
Okay, she's going to give her name 1 second. And hearing about the Ukraine war, one of the sad things is, other than the horror of the war, there is so much racism that people are stopped at the borders as they're trying to escape. And when I saw that, I lost sleep on that. And it just reminded me, especially when they said that they were stopping, Black people from, getting out of Ukraine into any of the countries, because this was not the people fighting the war. This is a different kind of war. And so it got me thinking about all the smart people I know from Nigeria and Kenya, and the amazing things that they're doing. So we've had Yankee as our speaker from South Sudan, and she is an amazing person. So I just thought we should share one of her clips. She was going to send her a video clip, then she had to run and go solve some local problems, so she could not send us a clip. So we decided to show this piece where she introduces herself, and Yash is doing the interview. So you'll hear Yash asking all the smart questions to get the best out of what Yaini can offer us. And
So I am the co-founder and mentorship director of Google's ICT initiative for the past almost 6 years. I founded Google's with a colleague when then I was working as an assistant lecturer at the College of Computer Science and Information Technology, University of Juba. And I was also acting I was the head department of computer science, just fresh from the university. So the inspiration came from the challenges and the limitations that I saw at the college, and seeing that there were we had one girl doing computer science and one girl doing IT. So the inspiration was to see how can we encourage more girls to be part of the tech revolution in South Sudan and contribute to the economy. And currently also I'm the independent director to the National Communications Authority, a body which is in charge of regulating and creating relevant policies in South Sudan in relation to the tech space.
Thanks, Yang. Thanks. Did I get your name right? Can you please pronounce it again?
You're almost close. Almost close.
Hello, good to see you now. Yep.
Yes, at least you can see my face.
So
Yine.
Yes. Yine.
I get it now. Apologies for telling it in the wrong way before. So now I got it. Yine, we are so happy to have you here, and I am very curious about the stuff that you have been doing all these years. I saw your website, Google's ICT, and there have been commendable works that you have done in the tech space, in the STEM-related space for girls.
Thank you.
And Ini, could you tell me what was your motivation? You said there was only one girl in the IT, one girl in your class, and that drove you to do this. Did you have any other motivation for you to start this? Was there a burning fire in your heart that said, let us do this?
I think since a very young age, I always love challenges and I always love to grow. So throughout my university and secondary school level, I've always found myself in spaces just to build on me, to understand my purpose, to understand my motivations, to understand my inspirations. So I think that for so many years, that has been like the driving force. And I think that was even one of the forces that took me to do a course in computing, because I was not actually thinking of anything related to technology, but just because of curiosity. I always want to see, I always ask questions. Why is this not happening? Why is this happening? Why not this? What are the causes? What are the challenges? Can I find a solution? So it's just like having all those personal questions that have become the driving force to actually push me to all these different avenues.
Thank you. And yeah, I just have a question here.
Yes.
So IoT is being taught to the kids, and IoT projects have been conducted. So what is the driving force behind choosing IoT? Is that IoT creates value? Does it make impact? Why is that you chose IoT of all the subjects that are there and the many things that are out there? What caught your eye on IoT?
So why IoT and why goggles started to explore IoT? When we look at our South Sudan context, connectivity is very expensive. And we also have very poor infrastructure, much as all the different bodies are still trying to put infrastructure in place, but it's very still expensive. And it's about 9% who are always online. So it means almost 92% of the population is offline. So we are looking at remote communities, which are the vast majority, and at the same time, from our side, we are looking at poor infrastructure. So as goggles, we are trying to ask ourselves questions: what best can work in our context, or what best can work in South Sudan? And that was the path that led us to actually start exploring IoT as a solution to some of the challenges that we have here.
Okay, so I want to stop the sharing because, that whole video is available if people want to, watch that. And those of you who are already here, who came here through Weekly Wednesday on Business School of AI, once you sign up, you get access to the curriculum where you'll have all the past recording. So that's a beautiful interview on how she's going about, teaching group of women to build and repair Internet of Things devices. And so, there is this bias when you think about Africa, the media image that is presented is kind of, not always good. And so I find that very inspiring that she chose to teach girls to go repair IoT and build IoT hands-on. So that's beautiful. But the other thing I found interesting in Ina's talk is she found that to get more women to more girls to get into tech and to work or study computer science, it was not just about inspiring the girls themselves, because girls might see her as a role model and say, hey, I want to study that. But if the whole society is not set up like that, then they will not get the support structure. So I know in patriarchal societies where the girls might be treated differently and they might end up doing more household work than guys. And I know that happens in some part of India still. And so what Yine did is she actually brought the parents when the girls built IoT. She got the parents, like a show and tell, what we call in the Western world as show and tell, to bring them to see the work of their daughters, and to show how important it is and how smart they are. And so they could cheer for them and cheer for their success. So there's a lot more when you go to change the world, it's just the drive, but the problem solving and creativity that goes with it is unbelievable. Okay. So
for the Wednesday meetings, but yeah, so my name is Smriti. I am 19 actually. I'm a first year at UCSD. I'm studying nanoengineering, and currently I just got into a lab, and we're doing biosensors. It's like a biosensors lab. So I work on the fabrication of like microneedles to go into the skin. I'm very, very new at it, but I think like the reason I love like the major that I'm doing is because there's like just in IoT, like how it is for IoT and AI, like there's just so much that we don't know about it. And like I really feel like if there's like more people doing this stuff, there's like a potential to really like change the world with like the major that I'm doing. So which is why I'm so passionate about it, and I would like to learn more. And like a lot of what my dad was telling me was that like this connection between AI and nanoengineering, it's like so like it's like the brink of like what's happening right now. And even like in my own lab, like there's like a lot of like data science and nanoengineering is a huge combination. And because like in nanoengineering, there's so much data that has to be mined. So yeah, it's really exciting stuff. But yeah.
So how did you choose to study nanoengineering? Because when you go to high school, they're just doing physics and chemistry and stuff, right? So how did you choose this topic especially?
I think it was pretty hard for me because I wanted to, like, I knew I loved like the STEM aspect of it, and I really enjoyed biology. But like I also wanted to do something more than just becoming a doctor. Like I wanted to like do like really breakthrough stuff. And so nanoengineering was kind of like, oh, like this is something new and something that that would be a challenge for me, definitely. So it was like, yeah.
And what can you tell us about yourself? I know that you have other hobbies and passions, and it's not all tech, especially here in Silicon Valley. For the world who's watching, we are so much obsessed about tech that we forget that all life is not only tech. And there is, and I know you have something in the art world, and you've done some stuff. So do you want to tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, so I've been doing Bharatanatyam for, I would say, 15 years now.
It's Indian classical dance, we have a global audience, so yeah.
Yeah, Indian classical dance, which is it's like a art form that's like been like hundreds of years old. And for me, Bharatanatyam was the way I connected to my Indian roots in like an American like country. So like the reason why I wanted to pursue Bharatanatyam currently, and how I pursue Bharatanatyam currently, is I make like choreographies with my best friend, and we choreograph to like modern problems and something that a lot of people can relate to. It's called fuchsia dance, if you want to check it out.
Okay.
FUCHSIA dance. Yeah, so like for me, Bharatanatyam wasn't that relatable because I grew up in America, and the types of stories that are told in Bharatanatyam are very unrelatable to people that don't know anything about it. So like our mission is just to promote like a modern storytelling through an ancient art form.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So
I have to say that the life that you're leading is a dream for many. To study nano engineering, like you may be here and thinking, I'm new to it and this is what we're doing. But Sudha, I want to add that it's a dream for many girls out there. And it's really nice to have you here. It's Sudha, over to you.
Thank you so much. And one of the things I loved how you came into this network is because I was saying in the beginning that women are doing wonderful things in their network, and relatively women's network are lesser or smaller typically. And so we have many bubbles, and then we have to, my job, I find I'm a natural connector. So I want to kind of break those bubbles as much as possible. So in interesting ways, because, as an extrovert, if I just make an intro, somebody might not even care to go connect with somebody else. So early on in my life, I've spent some time talking to people who I felt had value to offer to the world, saying, you should go blog and you should come to the meetup and do this. And that was not in their flow. And they would literally laugh at me, right? And I felt like it was a wasted opportunity. So what I find fascinating in what you're doing is you're following your passion, doing your STEM education, and you'll hopefully, go change the world with that. But then you're also bringing your Indian heritage to, create art. And so that's fascinating. And one other thing you might not realize, what you've already done is, because you've been talking to your dad, and he's one of those curious engineers who likes to connect everything to everything, and he has to understand the details of things. So when you said, nano engineering, and there's data science there, so he immediately turned around and he says, what is data engineering, and what is nano engineering and data science, and what is AI plus nano engineering? And then he's like quizzing everybody around him. And so he's asked me, he's asked Yash, and I'm sure he's asked 100 other people in this network. So the thing that keeps us smart is we literally try to stay on the edge of learning. And so you've given us something that is like a whole new direction. I was like, what is that? And we're Googling around. After that, we wear that, back of our head. We know we don't know the answer to that, right? So because of that, anything we see around, we are like, is this what Suresh is asking about? Is this what, will pass the Smriti test? And we are trying to find things all around us. So thank you for that. And thank you for, not stopping and keeping your passion and saying, I'm going to go and learn this in school and go do my own thing, but trying to come and, change the world into, a total different world. We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So much. That's so sweet. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And thank you for joining. We appreciate it. If you can stay on for a little bit, that will be good. Yes. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Yash, who else do we have? I thought we had few more women, but we are at 10 our time here. So I wonder if we should wrap up, or do you think we should show 2 more women? What do you think?
I think we should wrap up, and we will continue by showcasing individual women on each weekly wed the whole of this month. And I think this was great. We should let go of people. And I think I want to take a pic. I want to take everybody to come on their camera. I want this to be our big International Women's Day event. I just want a nice smile on everybody's face so that I take a nice pic and keep it for memory's sake.
And if you don't want to be the camera, it's absolutely okay. Just if you're
it's all for memory's sake that we are taking a photo and keeping it, not for any promotional event. So don't worry about it. And okay, I'll take the pic. So cheers to International Women's Day. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And we will not be having weekly wed tomorrow, and we will have weekly wed the next consecutive Wednesdays, and it is all women-based speakers who are coming. And please join. There is tons of learning for each of you.
Okay.
And Sudha, thank you. Thank you for hosting and bringing this together, for getting us people from all over the world. It makes us feel the world is really small.
Yes. And people like Smriti come in and expand it to, saying, oh, it's not so small because you're connected. Here is a whole new area that you don't know. Start learning. So thank you, everybody. With that, we are going to wrap up. Happy International Women's Day, and hope you don't, stop to this event. And Patrick was saying that he has like few more events. You don't just stop at this event, and hope this is a beginning to connect with amazing women and to, go cheer for people around you. and do your part, as Suresh has been doing here and many of you have been doing here. So I appreciate that. So hope this is the beginning of making a little bit more dent in bringing gender equality and having conversations and research, and making the world a little bit more equitable. With that, we'll wrap up.